Good evening, everyone. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Good evening to everyone, whether you're listening to this live, watching this live on YouTube on my channel, or whether you're watching it back on playback, or you're listening to it on the Always Wolves podcast. It's always good to get together after a game, but God, I'm a bit vexed. It's fair to say that I'm a bit vexed. Wolves have lost after a 2-week break where the players could go off and obviously spend some time with the families, which I think is really important. But it felt like they were still on the beach in the first half. And it's a game where I had high hopes. This channel had high hopes. Everyone that spoke on transfer deadline day that rang in and all the people in the chat, we had high hopes of reaching a cup final. My dad's 85 years of age. It's his lifelong dream to go to an FA Cup final with me and sing goodbye with me. And for the second year running, I wouldn't say that Bruno Lage put out a team to lose, because he put out the strongest team that he could, I guess. But we've gone out in the fourth round to a Norwich team that really doesn't need an FA Cup run. Their focus is staying up in the Premier League. And the first half especially, we were, both sides weren't very good, to be honest. But, I'm very, very disappointed. And I'm going to be very interested to hear what our pundits have to say in their thoughts. And you guys obviously have your say in the chat as well. Please smash a like on the video. Please share it on your groups. Let's get as many Wolves fans on. Let's actually really say how we're feeling tonight. And we're going to kick off with friend of the show, young Paul Mansell. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Dave. I'll take being called young. Thanks for that.
Hi, everyone. You're a tad younger than me, aren't you? So there you go. So you're classed as. And if you do want to comment in the chat, all you need to do is be a subscriber for 1 minute, and you'll be able to make a comment, and we'll put some of the best comments up on the screen. And I want to thank, of course, as always, Spider VPN. The links in the description below for supporting the channel. Paul, you went today with your girls?
I did, yeah.
It was cold. It was windy. It was a tad wet. It was not quite what we were thinking it would be.
No, the first word I think that comes to mind is disappointing, isn't it? I mean, when the draw was made, we all said this is a good draw.
Come out here and said awful performance.
Yeah, this is a good draw for us. A team that's probably not going to prioritise the cup at home, avoided all the big teams. This should be a great opportunity to move through into the fifth round, into the last 16. But in that first half especially, we just did not show up. Norwich had one good chance, I think, Adam Ider, about halfway through the first half.
Ruddy made the save.
And John Ruddy made a really good save. Apart from that, nothing else happened in the half. And we've had a few away performances where we could say that. If you think back to the reverse fixture, for instance, pretty much nothing happened. Crystal Palace away. But we've had obviously some good results recently. But if you think back to Southampton at home, Sheffield United at home, in both those matches, we probably should have been a goal down before we started. Against Brentford, not much happened in the first half an hour, but again, we weren't on the front foot. And I'm seeing a pattern emerge since the Man United match, where we really, went for them early on, didn't we? At Man United. In the other games, we just haven't been able to impose ourselves early in the match. And that's Bruno's homework for the next few days. He's got to work out what it is that's stopping us in the first half an hour of matches. We don't even look anywhere near scoring in the first half an hour. And perhaps a bit of credit to the opposition, in those games. they come out, they close us down, and they don't give us an inch. But we've got to be creative and think of other ideas to beat the closing down strategy that teams are naturally going to use against us. So his homework is sort out the first half an hour of matches, because even though we've been having some good results, I think we could have been one down in all of our last couple of home games.
Well, you make a really good point there, because the Man United game away, we were hungry. We were all over them. We were on the front foot. We had energy. And bear in mind, this was not long after the COVID break as well. And we thought, are they going to have any energy? They had bundles of energy. And we were right on the front foot. And we took the game to United. They never got back into it. And today, you know, you've got a full house at Molineux, barring a few seats scattered around and Norwich not filling out their allocation. You've got the Hughes stand, or the Gene Kelly stands back open as well. You know, we got Dinny, who's from Ireland. I was also speaking to some guys from Barcelona and Madrid. They were. I was having a chocolate before I met up with my dad, a hot chocolate, and they were sat on the table, and I saw them drawing a sign, and it said Semedo, and I talked to them. I've got them on the match day vlog, and they were trying to get Semedo's shirt, and they were over from Barcelona and Madrid to come and support Wolves. Could you believe? It's crazy. And, you know, I'm just disappointed for everyone, for the people. There's another couple, I saw a couple of subscribers I saw in where we went to have a curry today, and they come all the way up from Norfolk. I met someone else from Kent. Those are long journeys. Probably some of these people that travel a long way, obviously they got in for the FA Cup match because, the tickets, not everyone goes because it's not the Premier League, but it's still a fantastic attendance. And they haven't seen the Wolves that we've seen. And the manager of the month, Bruno Lage, watched his thing. He said it's not a curse. I was trying to say that, but I don't know.
Moutinho wasn't in the game, was he, in the first half? And he's been such an influential player for us in the last few games. And I think that was a reason why we didn't get going in the first half, that he wasn't involved very much. I felt a bit sorry for Fabio Silva, especially in the first half, because he had absolutely nothing to feed off. There was no crosses coming in. There was no balls to put him in the channel, running onto. So after half time, though, I did think whatever he said at half time did make an impact. And I thought it's a matter of time here before we score. We really cranked up the pressure. Pedence's shot hit the post and could have gone back in.
I felt.
Yeah, player visibility is a good chance. And I thought it's just a matter of time, but then it just started to peter out again. So back to the drawing board, and I think some more different ideas are required when our initial plan isn't working.
Paul, I've got to. I saw the team selection today, and obviously Trink. We're missing Neto, we're missing Wang. Adama's gone out on loan, probably never to be seen again in a Wolves shirt. Obviously, if they get the money, and then Trinko comes down with COVID, and you got 4 attacking forwards there out on the game, and he plays what I thought was going to be a 3-5-2 when I saw Dendoncker, but Dendoncker seemed to be playing in the 3 up top, and I just, for the life of me, can't get my head around that.
They seem to have this move, this tactic they were trying to do, where Cody was trying to feed him in over the top.
Yeah.
Dendoncker, they tried that ball about 4 times in the first half. It was a strange selection and a strange ploy, I think. But I will say, in Dendoncker's defence, I thought he had a good game at Brentford and made an impact on the game. But to play him in that kind of almost like a forward role was strange. But looking at the manager's post-match comments tonight, he's almost, to me, said, that he's done the best that he can with the players that he's got, which I interpreted as I could do with a few more players. really.
Well,
So
we know. I mean, we could do with a few more players, and I think how well we've been doing in January has taken a little bit of the heat off the transfer window.
yeah, that's a good point.
Because if we'd have had a bad January, it would have been a meltdown. But like we've had a great January. Okay, got curtailed, and I hope this isn't going to be a horrible as February. Because I mean, I just was really bamboozled. He says he hasn't got the players. Okay, but why? And when we watched us play Norwich away, we needed that extra player in the middle of the park, and you thought, okay, 3 in the middle. And with what we've got Fabio and Pedence playing up front together. It can work, and he didn't play that, and he never switched it again. When he made a strange substitution, Totti Gomez, who I didn't think did anything wrong. He takes him off and puts Raul on, and I'm thinking, okay, we've gone to a back 4, and then the next minute, Donker's dropped in the back 3 from the front 3.
It was a strange. We were trying to make sense of it around us.
Why would he do that for? Why? What is the thinking? Explain to me. Why has he taken Totti Gomez off, who's already in the back 3 having a decent game, and then putting Raul on, not changing to a flat back 4 to get more, up front or playing for this, and puts Donker from who was playing left-sided, right-sided up front. Why would he do that? I don't. What's the thinking? Explain it to me.
The only thing I can think, and I'm really clutching at straws here, is that he wanted to keep this roughly the same shape for a bit longer, and he's thought, if I put Donker into the back, and I need to then go to a 4 at the back, I can just move him into midfield without making another change. Whereas
but then he takes Donker off.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense. The only other thing that I could think, and again I'm clutching at straws, is Kilman's a left-footed central defender playing on the right. But if you move him over to the left, it changes his passing lanes a little bit, because a left footer on the left will perhaps more naturally pass in a different way to a left footer on the right. I'm clutching at straws, but that's all I can think. I didn't really understand. I was very surprised when he made that change.
You didn't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, I'm frustrated. I am frustrated today because I'm thinking we're in a good position in the league. We're not going down. We're at home against a Norwich team, okay, that had a good January. But they've got a match on Wednesday, which is far more important to them, at home against Crystal Palace. And we just didn't turn up in the first half. It's like they got the flip-flops on. It's Connor Cody's 300th game as well as captain. And I'm at a loss. I mean, like, I was holding back from having a rant at the end of the game because I'm frustrated. My dad is 85. It's his lifelong dream, as people know, to go to an FA Cup final. Your dad, he's a bit younger than my dad. And I'm just like, how many opportunities do we have to spurn? We could have won this game and got into the last 16. We don't know how much further we go, but we just seem to surrender it. And it was a bizarre goal. I mean, as well.
I've watched it back, and to me, when you make that run that far in front of the near post, it's not to score, it's to get a flick on. And I think he's attempted to flick the ball on, but it's just ended up going in. I don't think they've designed a run that far wide to result in a header.
It's kind of looped up and dropped in, but we had nobody on the back post as well. And there's no one there. It's a free goal. We don't concede many goals from open play. And that is, and it was literally, I'd say the last kick, but it was the last kick was the kickoff. Yeah. And then it was whistle, and I kind of like, we'd have got to. And then when you give a team a goal advantage, we come out second half so much hungrier, and had that goal. I mean, we didn't have the look. Pedence hits the inside of the post, it bounces straight back into the keeper. It could have gone anywhere, and it's a goal. I think they cleared one off the line, but we never really created. There's a period at the start of the second half, their first 15 minutes, we were all over them, and I was thinking the goal surely would come, but they weathered the storm, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, what's worrying for me throughout the course of the season, really, our number 9, whoever that is, sometimes it's Silva, but mainly it's Jimenez. He's not having chances to miss because there's not been any chances created for him. If you cast your mind back over the course of the season, how many chances has Jimenez missed? Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
There's just not enough chances being created. So therefore, they're really feeding off scraps. And what worries me a little bit as well is when we go behind in a game, that's like the worst thing that can happen because we struggle to score goals anyway. But teams then sit so deep. When we score first ourselves, we've only lost 2 points from winning
All
positions
season,
in the Premier League.
and that's the key, isn't it, Paul? It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
We're gonna be just to let you know, we've got Manny up next. We've got Josh Scott and we've got Millie representing the ladies making her debut. Paul, to finish off, give us your rating. Give us your Wolves Man of the Match nomination from the pundit side, and then we can see what you're going to throw into the hat.
The first half would be like 4, I think, because it was just so tepid. Second half got a bit better, so I'll increase it to 5 based on that.
5 rating.
My eldest said that Dad, I really enjoyed watching Ruben Neves today. I thought his passing was great, and I think she makes a good point. His passing was one of the highlights of the game. Some of those crossfield balls that he was doing. But I'd probably give Man of the Match to Max at the back because I actually think he could have played on his own at the back. He's that good sometimes, you know. He's so strong, so quick, uses the ball well. I don't think anyone was necessarily great today, but I'd pick out him as one of the better ones.
So a 5 rating and pundit's Man of the Match from Paul is Max Kilman. Good shout. Let's see what the rest have. Paul, thanks for coming up. I know you wanted to get off first today. It's brilliant. Let's hope.
Cheers, Dave. Yeah.
There will be a bet we'll have more joy and less pain at the next game. We've got 2 big games coming up, Arsenal and Tottenham, of course. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Maybe see you on Thursday at the Arsenal match, but if not, I'll be at Tottenham on Sunday as well.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it. We'll have to catch up for that as well, mate. Nice one. Cheers, pal.
Cheers. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
So that's Paul. And next, delighted to say we've got Manny. How you doing, mate?
Hi, how you doing? Horse.
Mate,
I gave it everything. I haven't got a voice left.
Yeah, no. Have you been doing a lot of shouting today, Manny?
Well, no, just sing. You know, I don't understand why people don't sing. I don't understand what's happened to the Molyneux crowd, bar 1 or 2 moments this season. The crowd has been really quiet, you know, considering, you know, we had no football for so long and we were so desperate to get back. Just seems really flat. It wasn't like an electric atmosphere you'd expect at an FA Cup tie, you know.
Well, I mean, remember that famous one, the quarter-final against United? I mean, the atmosphere for that was electric.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a quarter-final, and you know, big matches like that you do get up for, but we need to get up for these matches as well, you know, and obviously nothing to do with the absolutely abject performance, you know, the players put in first half. Obviously you feed off that, but we just didn't even start.
Manny, I thought the crowd were all right. I thought the first 5 minutes and the pre-match we seemed quite loud, and then it just, like you say, it sort of like it was cold, it was wet, it was windy. The performance was flat, and I think that sort of fed to the crowd. But obviously the crowd have got a job. Once we came out second half and we were on the front foot, it raised the crowd levels as well.
But I don't think I'm the first person to, like, you know, the only person to mention several times this season there is something, like, you know, don't know whether people are split up and sitting in different areas, or
Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't know. It just seems like even around me it can get really loud, and even around me there was a few characters who were probably missing who usually join in, but people just watching the game go on by. And I just think, with someone like Ben Foster's comments, this week, where he talked about in his podcast about the Wolves crowd being the most vociferous crowd that he's ever faced, and how
Did he say that?
Yeah, he goes, it was so daunting, and he'd fully expect a younger player, if it was a younger goalkeeper, an inexperienced goalkeeper would have suffered at the hands of that crowd. And that, because obviously we've got some history with him and we give him a lot of stick. And so it just shows you how much influence a really loud crowd has on the opposition, if we can get ourselves up for it. But let's get on to the game, because this was 11 players, and let's be honest, they didn't turn up that first half. They were lethargic, they were slow, they were still on holiday in Dubai and wherever they went. It just seemed disjointed, no urgency. Norwich were poor. Norwich were really poor.
You know what, Manny? I think you're right. I mean, I looked at the first half, and as poor as we were, I thought we probably edged it, even though we were really bad. I mean, I know they probably had the better chances, but we controlled the game without. We were very passive, I thought. We didn't seem to have any spark.
Yeah, it was just, like I said, it just didn't, walking up to the ground and everything, a cup tie, you want to have an electric feel about it, about, the whole thing. And then hopefully the team then goes on the front foot and puts a few challenges in, or takes a few shots, or whatever, and nothing happened. And because nothing happened, it just, just went really flat. And let's be honest, it should have been 0-0 at half time. The free kick was right where we sit, and it was taken from about 6 or 7 yards from the wrong place.
Right.
It should have been closer to the corner. If it was close to the corner, they wouldn't have been able to whip the ball into the far post like that. So that was quite clear error, but again, defended not very well. I thought the defence did okay today, overall, apart from that set piece. Ruddy in goal, we're going to start comparing any goalkeeper to Jose Sarr now, unfortunately, because Jose Sarr has been that brilliant. And one thing about Jose is he comes out and he claims, and he's really positive, and any other goalkeeper is not going to look like that, because that's why he stands apart. So obviously you think, well, could he have, was it in his zone? Could he have come for it? Could he have been more positive? Could he have, but it is what it is. And it's just a goal. And second half, you could see they'd had a kick up the backside, came out with more intent. And that's that point where you've just got to score. When you suddenly find a bit of a wind, you've got to score. And Podence had the chance and hit the post, and really should have buried it, to be fair. And then he had another chance where he sort of pulled out of shooting and tried to move the ball rather than shooting. So
that was not long after, was it? And then he got closed down.
Yeah, I mean, both of them were really good chances. And I always thought this game, I think Paul's just mentioned, it's always one of those games where the first goal is going to matter so much because of the way Norwich play. To open them up, we need to score first. If they score first, then they can literally just try and, backs to the wall, and then we find it hard to break down. And it's not about having X player or Y player. We would just pour the players. If the players on the pitch have done all they can to their maximum potential, then you can say, oh, it's not working, let's bring someone on, and those players didn't. They didn't do it. So
what did you think about the decision to play Den Donker in the front three?
I think, Chiquinho was on the bench and he's new. But if he's good enough to be on the bench, I would have just played him, because that's his natural position.
He looked quite good when he came on, I thought.
He was bright. He was,
he looked strong as well.
He was just direct. He was just like, get the ball and let's run and get the cross in. So, that's what you want. That's what a winger is, just direct and simple and effective. And he showed he was one of the, little bits that you brought out of the game and thought, oh, he's not that bad, maybe we've found someone. And but apart from that, just huffed and puffed after those Pedence chances, and just never really looked like getting anything, anything, and a final ball and whatever changes he made just didn't work. Again, Ruddy made one fantastic save in the second half, but he was a bit of a spectator in the second half, and we just didn't get the goal.
He made one good save actually. We've got Jazza here, who's which is nice of him to join us. Jazza says Norwich fan. He said we thought this is from them. We were lucky at times. Yeah. Quality didn't try out. He wanted Norwich to lose so they could focus on the league. Best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, cup games are cup games. It doesn't matter who you play. You saw United, Middlesbrough, you saw Kidderminster, the fight they put up, the fight, and Plymouth put up at Chelsea. Cup games are always levelers. They're always going to be really tough. You can't just say, oh, it's Norwich, bottom of the league, we should win. You've got to turn up. You've got to play well. You've got to defend well. You've got to pass the ball. You've got to find you've got to do all the basics right. If you don't do them, they'll still beat you. And a poor Norwich beat us. Remember, this isn't Norwich playing wonderful, amazing football to beat us. They were poor as well, and they beat us, with a goal that didn't look like coming. And, we just, couldn't score. And it's been one of our problems for a number of seasons. We seem to have started this year, in 2022, with a few goals. And so you're always hopeful that we can score. Yeah, and carry it on. And we didn't. And it's just a real bad day at the office. And the frustrating thing is it's the cup, and it means a lot to the fans. It means a lot to the city having a cup run, and it's traditionally, the FA Cup, the dream, after the disappointments we've had recently, and not being anywhere near it in the past, few decades, just to go out again like that, after last year as well. It's just really disappointing. If you come and do everything, that's not a problem. If you do everything you can, play to your potential, and you just didn't get that rub of the green, you can say, oh well, it just wasn't our day. But today we sit here and think, oh God, we just didn't turn up.
And I think that's the frustrating thing. Obviously, we've got to kick on. We've got Arsenal on Thursday. I take it you'll be at that. I don't know if you'll be at the Tottenham game. I'm guessing you're probably there for Tottenham on Sunday as well.
Yeah, I'm not actually, believe it or not, I'm not there. We've got a very busy Sunday, so I can't make Sunday. Unfortunately, Sunday 2:00 kickoffs are a nightmare for me.
Yes, you said, didn't you?
If it was a home game, I might be able to make it. So we'll be there for Arsenal, and hopefully the Arsenal away match as well.
That's on the 24th now, hasn't it? The Arsenal away.
You've always got to balance things out, and we haven't lost since December the 11th. We would have won every game this season, and we just had a poor day at the office. Hopefully we can recover and go again and play more. And people like Neves and Moutinho and people like that, Pedence, they know they can play better than that. Of course they do. So that's up to them to prove that they can, and up to Bruno to get his team right. One thing I have to say, the player that I want to give a lot of kudos to is young Toti Gomez, brought in from nowhere, in terms of we didn't know even that he was about, and he's come in 3 appearances and just looks so strong, so accomplished, so fast.
Was you surprised he got taken off and then Donker was dropped into the back 3?
Yeah, I think what happened there was, I think Bruno probably thought, shall I go 4? And then he thought, okay, let's bringing Toti off means that you can still go 4, because you can put Dendoncker back in midfield if you wanted to, and so he probably thought it was a bit more flexible for him to make a change that way. But yeah, it was a little bit, but I didn't think the defence had much to do anyway. Especially in the second half, they were we did have an extra man, and we didn't really look that much under threat even when we went back to 4 early. And we was trying to push the game on, but it just whimpered out, didn't it? The time ran out, and we just huffed and puffed and couldn't do what we're supposed to do, is score goals. Especially at home, we should be scoring goals, and if you don't score goals, you don't win games.
Well, let's hope we've got. I think to recoup, they've got to get top 4 now, so there's no pressure. Manny, what's your performance rating, and who you're going to give your man of the match to?
Performance rating, it would have been 3 or 4, but maybe raise it to a 5. I don't know, just because of the second half, a little bit of a fight back. but you're not going to win games if you're 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. You might get a point if you're 6 out of 10, but you're not going to, so 5 out of 10. My man of the match, I am going to actually give it to Toti Gomez, even though he got took off, because he was like, for me, it was like an old-fashioned Des Walker. You're just never going to get past him. He just wins the ball. People might say, oh, is he great at passing or distribution? But I always look at defenders and I think, can they defend? If they can defend, we can work on someone, and he can defend, man. He's strong, he's powerful, he doesn't get out muscled, he puts a tackle in, he don't care, about putting a tackle in. So yeah.
And just before we get on to Millie, who's going to make her debut, Andrew's asking, do you think Kundal should get a game?
I think that's a real mystery for us, isn't it, as fans? Because yesterday, Bruno Lage in his press conference said that Luke Kundal could replace anybody, and he's ready to replace anybody in midfield. That was really, really high praise for somebody who's never started a Premier League game. So whether Bruno was on the magic mushrooms or he's seen something in Kundal that obviously he's highly talented, highly thought of. But to say he can,
Luke Kundal?
I wouldn't say he was more than 20, 21, 22. I don't know. Yeah. But to say that he could potentially step in for Neves and Moutinho, and he's ready for that right here, right now. That's a big statement to make. And so the manager's obviously really confident in him. I sort of believe in Bruno Lage because what he's done with all our players in the back line and midfield, he's made them better than last year. They've all improved. They can all defend. They can play better than last year. We proved that. We started the Premier League well, considering the start we had. So let's go again. Go Thursday. Hopefully, it's obviously going to be slightly more open for us because Arsenal won't just sit back. They'll come and expect to beat us. They're not a bad side. So let's get the players like Podence especially, on the ball, because he has got a bit of a trick on him. He is, he's had a couple of good games against Arsenal, and probably Raul would be back, and then Trinco. People can say what they like about Trinco. Some of our best recent performances have been with him starting. When he started at Brighton, he really looked good in that game, the Brentford game, the one against United. He gave a lot of balance to the side, and so I probably go Trinco, Podence, and Raul.
I think that's if Trinco's recovered from COVID.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
It's down to 5 days, isn't it? So
it is 5 days. So it depends.
If he's fit and he's healthy and he's just got COVID and he's got no symptoms, he could be. But if he's
he might already be 1 or 2 days into it. We don't know. Hopefully he's. I don't know when he was diagnosed or when he went positive. So
didn't see him on the training though videos. So it might have been a couple of days.
So it might not be too bad, and one thing, even after international breaks, Wolves have never done well in this mid-season winter break. What a rubbish idea it was, because for someone like Burnley, he hadn't even played for 4 weeks anyway with all the cancellations. Some teams didn't need a mid-season break, so they could have, because of COVID, they could have cancelled the midweek.
We were going so well as well at the time, but I know that it was good for the players to spend time with their families and stuff like that, but it kind of stopped a bit of a momentum, and it just didn't happen today. But absolutely, Luke Kundal says Katie is apparently 19 years of age. So
there you go. I mean, that's high praise for a 19-year-old. But that's one thing we have to look at. We can look at the negatives about we didn't bring in enough cover for midfield. We didn't, we've let Adama go. Okay, he wanted to go, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him to go, and you can't stop in the way of somebody who doesn't want to be here, and he made that clear. So, but on the positive side, the Luke Kundals, the Toti Gomez's, bringing in Jose Sarr, improving Max Kilman, Saiss and Cody looking unbelievably in defence. Both full-backs seem so strong defensively.
Who would you play against Arsenal? Toti Gomez or Saiss?
You know what? At the moment, I can't drop Toti Gomez. I just like him. I just think he's so strong and fast, and he's got the shirt, and that should be the way it is. Just because somebody's done well, they haven't got a divine right to get their shirt back. Even Raul, if Silva performs and score goals, even
banging in the
Raul,
goals, yeah.
even Raul can't expect to just come back. And so every position should always be like that. You shouldn't be an automatic, oh, Saïss is back, so we've got to put him back, because that's the kind of thing that frustrates fans. We want to play players who are in form, who are playing here and now, and you know. And I just think we should stick with him, because he's doing so well at the moment. He hasn't really done anything wrong.
No.
It's up
Yes.
down to Bruno. If Bruno does bring Saïss in, I don't think it's an issue, because Saïss has also done nothing wrong, and they have defended very well, the three of them. So it's a good that they're the good problems we want to have.
And
it's
we
good
want
to have
those
them.
sort of problems in defence, then, because it was a problem. It was an issue before, and now we've got Yerson coming back as well soon.
Yeah.
So. And
You got Yerson coming back. You got Johnny's back training. You got Marcel. You got lots and lots of options in, and that's frustrating that we haven't really got those options in midfield or in attack. We're just not hitting it off. We beat Brentford with Neves and Moutinho goals, and players from other areas. Saïss scored at Brighton. So Moutinho scored at United. Those people from other areas are stepping up, and now it's time for the front three to step up and take ownership and take some of the workload off the others and hit the goals, because the midfield won't always score and the defenders won't always score, and that's where you need your number 9s and your 10s and 11s, whoever played in those positions, to come up with the goods. And let's see.
Well, loads of people here are saying they've been very impressed with Toti Gomez, and as Neil White says, can you believe Lambert signed Saïss?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can say whatever you like about Saïss and Cody, and they are from the days of almost pre-Fosun, but they've improved and they've done so well. So if you want to buy a better defender than Cody, or a better defender this season than Saïss, you're going to pay extreme amount of money. Last year, people were ready to cast them both off.
And Kilman, I think if Nuno had been here, probably would have gone.
Kilman might have left.
Yeah, and
because
he's going to be worth.
So I always look at both sides and think, yes, we should have got more in. Yes, why didn't we? Why is Giles gone if we're short? Why is
that's a good point.
But then I look at, but hang on, they made the decision to change to Bruno. He's improved our players. Jose Sarr, we've got one of the best goalkeepers we've seen down there. He's Silva looks stronger and big. So they're also, Toti Gomez has come out of the blue. So you've got to give credit as well. Oh, well done. Credit for all bringing these people in. You can't just say, oh, you're rubbish. You're not buying, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Whether that's satisfactory for fans, that's time will tell. That's our owners. If they want to take it slow and steady, that's what they want to do. We've just got to see the proof in the pudding, and they'll fall and die by the decisions they make. And
I think you're right, and I think the next 2 games are going to be are going to define our season against Arsenal and Tottenham.
Yeah,
if we get 4 points out of those, then Europe's definitely on.
Yeah, I think go below the top 3, then here's a little bit of a muchness. We beat West Ham, remember? We beat Man United, remember? And so we should have beaten Spurs. Let's be honest.
Well,
so all those sides, and we beat we battered all 3 sides very comfortably. So we're right there even with the limitations of our squad, and Neto, God bless him. If we can't really expect too much of him probably this season, because he's still a month away. But Johnny coming back is a big thing, and Hwang's a couple of weeks away or what. So that within a couple of weeks, hopefully we've got a few more options, and we're still hanging in around that top.
Well, that's it. When we get to sort of the middle of March, and we've got games coming thick and fast, if we've got more options, it's just a shame we didn't have it today. Sadly, we're out the cup, mate. And obviously, Manny's gone 5, and he's another defender, Toti Gomez, has been nominated. Thank you very, very much.
No problem.
And I know you've got a lot of stuff to get on with now, so I appreciate you getting on, mate.
No problem, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
Catch you later, buddy.
See you.
And we
See
need
you,
to get
mate.
that tennis game in soon.
Yeah, we will, definitely. See you, mate.
All right, catch you a bit. Bye. So that's Manny. Always makes some fantastic points, of course. Do you agree with his points? Well, we're going to see. We've got a debut now from Millie. Hello, Millie.
Hi, Dave. You all right?
Absolutely fantastic. You were at the game today, and
Yeah,
it's
very
brilliant.
disappointed.
I know it's brilliant to be able to get a female fan's perspective, because there are a lot of girls that really love their football, that go to the game, and we need to get more women on the show. So thank you for making your debut tonight. I know you're a little bit nervous.
Just a bit.
Yeah, fantastic. So where
Thanks
did
for having
you?
me on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And where did you sit today?
I was top of the South Bank.
Top of the South Bank. And who did you go with?
I went with my dad.
You went with your dad, did you? Fantastic. And so you went with a lot of expectation, I guess, today.
Yeah, very positive about the game when I went in.
And you came out a little bit different, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was expecting to win. It was almost a guaranteed win, Dave.
Well, yeah. So I must admit, I was expecting us to. I think that's why I'm so disappointed and frustrated, because you just think this is a great opportunity today to progress into the last six in a home tie against a team that's more focused on staying up, and that's, I think, what the frustration is.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you play a bit of football yourself?
I do, yeah.
Oh, right. So do you play for a ladies' team?
Yeah, I'm in development squad for Redditch.
Oh, fantastic. And what position do you play?
Defence.
Oh, so you defence. And so have you got a favourite player in the Wolves team?
It's got to be Cody.
So you love Cody, and of course making his 300th appearance today. It was such a shame that the performance didn't match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what have you made of the season so far?
I think we've had some good games. My favourite so far, I know it's the FA Cup, but it's got to be that Sheffield game. Performance on top. Presenters having a field day. Shame we've knocked out to Norwich.
I know, and you were expecting a bit more today, weren't you?
Yeah, very disappointing. I think.
So what do you think went wrong today?
First of all, Dendoncker for me. Where was he playing there for?
Well, I've got to be honest, Millie. I was a bit baffled, because when I saw the team sheet, I thought we were going to go a 3-5-2 with a three-man midfield, and then as I'm watching the game, it's like Dendoncker's playing in a front three, and he ain't a front three. He's a midfielder that can play defence, and he's a midfielder that can come up for set pieces and make runs, and he's got heading ability, and he's tidy. You know, he's in the Belgium squad, but he ain't a forward. So
no, I noticed in the second half it sort of changed to what I thought. I sort of trusted the process and hoped there was a goal coming.
Yeah, and I mean, who impressed you today within the what players stood out for you?
No one really, but in the first half, I think Neves was doing really well, passing it about a bit.
Yeah, he made some good long passes, didn't he? He really did.
Yeah.
And what have you made of Fabio Silva's contribution this?
Not great, very little.
Do you think he just didn't have a lot to feed off, though?
No, I just don't think he had a good game today.
He didn't have a good game today at all.
Not at all, no.
Okay, and in terms of like, what would you have changed anything at halftime?
Yeah, I would have changed the formation to the opposite, where Dendoncker was, and put him back in midfield.
A 3-5-2?
Yeah.
Because of the limited options with the wingers?
Yeah. Do you know where Chan was today?
Where who was?
Chan.
Chan?
Yeah.
Well, he's injured, isn't he?
Oh, is he? I wonder where he was today.
I thought you were going to tell me he was shopping in the bull ring or something. I thought you knew where he was and everything. So fantastic. So Millie, I mean, what are you going to give it as a performance rating?
I'm going to be a bit generous here, because the new lad came on in the second half. He put some good crosses in. So I'm going to take a positive from that. I'm going to give it a 5.5.
That when well, let's just take a step back here, Millie. When you're giving a performance rating of 5.5 and we're calling it positive, that is like not great. Is it a 5.5 and it's a
I'm
positive
taking the new
score?
player away from a positive. That's the only positive I'm taking of the game now. It's very disappointing today.
Absolutely. Well, the positives from the game, Cody's 300th appearance. Like you say, the chap that came on did really, really well. Who are you going to nominate for, as a pundit for your man of the match from the Wolves' point of view?
I know he came off, but I want to give it to Totti Gomez.
So you're agreeing with Manny, with Tete Gomez?
Yeah,
Were you surprised to see him substituted?
I was, yeah, because he was doing really well.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I was more sort of surprised the fact that he substituted and then put Den Donker in the back three. And then later on took Den Donker off. So we've got 2 votes for Totti Gomez. And have you got any final thoughts?
Not really, no. I've heard a lot of people coming up from different areas. Obviously, it's disappointing for them. It's everyone's dream to get an FA Cup final, like you said, because of your dad as well.
And how old are you, Millie?
Disappointment all round. It was
And how old are you, Millie?
17.
So you're 17. So hopefully you've got years and years and years to get to an FA Cup final. You've got plenty of time, haven't you? So hopefully we'll see that. But I want to see it in my dad's lifetime, and he's 85. You know, my dad. I mean, and he's still able to go to the home games and and stuff like that. But he's it means a lot to him. He wants to get to an FA Cup final and sing goodbye with me. And I know if we ever got to that FA Cup final, and I hope and pray it does happen, I will be in tears when we sing goodbye with me, because I'll be so proud to be there with Dad. And that's why I'm really upset, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like all fans, I'm upset and I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated and I'm a little bit niggled with the result today. But, for my dad, I think just because I know how much it means to him as well for us to do that, it's just like he's 85 and he's still healthy at the moment. And just how many more chances can we get? And we got so close a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And last year we threw it away. And this year, you can't say he didn't play the strongest possible team, although I do think that the decision to play Den Donker on the right was strange. But the
players were definitely capable and good enough of it to get through, I reckon.
Well, there you go. Sutton Lads wants to say, well done, Millie. Very well spoken. And have you enjoyed your debut?
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, will you come on again, will you?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you for contributing. And if you've enjoyed Millie's contribution, smash a like on the video, please. And, make sure you put some encouraging comments for the young lady here in the comments as well. That's absolutely brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Millie.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Speak soon, mate. Fantastic. So, because Scott, I know, doesn't mind, we're going to use him as the bookend again. And because we've got Josh waiting and he's wearing his nice Castori shirt. Hi, Josh.
You all right, Dave?
Mate, I've missed having you on. Where have you been?
It's gone from after games staying out in the pub and then going back in the pub back by home after that. And then I've just been getting back at God knows what time after games. And
you mean you've been out partying?
Yeah.
Well, we've missed having you on because I do like getting you on. So it's good to because you do make some good contributions, but you do need to make sure that 1 out of 3 games you're getting back a bit early for extra time, mate.
Yeah.
But for the Spurs game, it'll be on the Monday night, so you'll be all right for that. So that's good. A lot of people here are saying well done to Millie, and which is great. She's still watching, which is fantastic. It's brilliant to have a young girl on. Because it is important to get female fans' perspectives, isn't it, Josh?
Definitely when it's like a male majority sport.
Absolutely, and she plays in defence as well for in the development squad for Reddish. And where were you sitting today?
Normal seat in the South Bank.
All right, fantastic. And what were your thoughts ahead of the game?
I think it's something that we're all guilty of. When my dad said the same today, because he went and when they did the draw the other week, you think, oh, Norwich, bottom 3 at the time when the draw happened, they're not going to want to be in the cup much longer because they want to focus on the league. It's a dead cert, which I think we're all guilty of thinking of in games like that. And I think possibly the players were as well.
Yeah.
They thought that it was just going to be a walkover, and it really wasn't, and they didn't turn up.
Oh, well, I couldn't believe that first half, man. I mean, to be honest, I don't think Norwich were very good either. I think it was the poor, but I thought we kind of like overall probably just edged it, even though we were bad. And then they had that goal at just before the
Half time.
I think that was a killer goal, wasn't it? It would prove to be the decisive goal.
It was just gutting because you always want a cup run and just go as far as you can.
Well, yeah, as far as we can. We won one game, and we went out on penalties in the League Cup as well. It's just frustrating. Did you go with your dad today?
So me and my brother, and then my mum and my dad were in the Lower Steve Ball.
Yeah. Well, Gary Feenley says, I think that now Traore's got its make or break for Trinco. He needs to step up.
I think he has. I think he comes under the bracket the same with Silver. I think because he's got that price tag of 25 million on him if we buy him. I think there's a lot of expectation under it all. And
what do you make? I mean, I know he didn't play today because he's annoyingly managed to get COVID when we need him.
I think he's been hit and miss. When he can get hold of the ball, I think he's done all right. He just needs to be a bit more consistent. I think.
Yeah, he's got skill.
Yeah,
he can make something happen. But I'm really so frustrated. What did you make of the? I mean, I've talked about this of the formation today and who was playing in that formation.
I wasn't surprised to see the midfield three.
Well, it wasn't a midfield three, was it?
But then Donker was making that run like he used, but it was more times than not. He ended up on that right-hand side, and he did the same at Brentford, where he was pushed out to that right-hand side constantly. I just didn't get the change. The first sub did not get it at all. Why? Who did he bring on for Touty? Was it Raul? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
Raul on for Totti Gomez, which I thought was a bizarre thing.
Me and my brother both said.
I thought we were going to a back four.
Yeah. Well,
and then Donker dropped in there.
Yeah, we thought you'd take Dendonker off and then move to go to stick with the five at the back, two in the middle, and the three up top. But then when he took Touty off, we said, "Oh, back four."
That's exactly what I thought.
And you saw Dendonker run back, and you're thinking, "Well, why didn't you just take Dendonker off?"
And swap sides.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
I thought that, and then he took Dendonker off, and we did go to a back four. So I don't know why he didn't do that straight away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the other thing is as well, if you're playing the front three, we had Hoover on, didn't we? The bench. Don't think we had Marcel on. To me, Ain't Norrie could have played in a front three. He's more likely
going forward,
his skills to play a front three role because he has got that. I'd have preferred to have seen him there and Hoover behind if or Marcel. I don't know where Marcel was. He injured?
I can't remember if he was on the bench or not. I know he's had that hit and miss calf injury the last few months again, which is what he had last year.
Yeah, I'm going to try and have a look, see who was on the bench today. Hold on, mate. Just whilst I'm looking at that, just tell me about what you think, who impressed you today. Marcel was on the bench.
Was he?
Yeah. So you could have put Marcel on.
Yeah, and pushed out
started him on the left and pushed out Norrie up in the front three. We're going to do that because I think that would have been a more natural type of thing. Hoover was on there as well.
Yeah.
And we had Chem Campbell on the bench. He didn't come on. Kundal was on there.
Yeah, Campbell was literally ready to come on at the end, wasn't he? And then he was the whistle blew, and that was it.
Well, left it a bit late, didn't he? Yeah, as always, left it a bit late.
Yeah.
So what have you felt about the season as a whole then?
I think it's been a good season, considering at the start of the season where Nuno had gone, Rui was going, there was talks of other players going. You were in that limbo period in July and August. You're thinking, what's going on? Bruno comes in, who's only really managed Benfica, who are one of the best teams in Portugal. We've had group of players that can perform there every year. And you just think, was it going to go well? And like, you got all the pundits saying, "Oh, we're in a relegation scrap," but we've proved them all wrong. We really have.
no worries of relegation. I mean,
No.
one more win, I think we're safe anyway.
Yeah, I think 32 will do it.
Who do you think's going to go down then?
I was on about this shit yesterday with my brother, and I said, but I think Burnley are gone. I think they're
You really think Burnley are gone? Do they have got like 3 games in hand?
Four games in hand, yeah. And I think one of them is.
I know people say it's better to have the points, but if they get something out of that, they got a good result the other day, a draw against Arsenal, didn't they?
Yeah, and didn't they draw? Did they play Watford today?
Don't know. Did they play
Yeah,
Watford
they did.
today?
Drew 0-0.
So that was a 0-0 draw, was it? So they got 2 draws. So what does that do to the table?
I think they're still bottom. I think.
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, Burnley are still bottom on 13. Newcastle 15. Watford 15.
Yeah, the table. So Burnley have got three games in hand on Norwich, 2 games in hand on Newcastle and Watford. It really wasn't the best result for Watford, was it?
No.
You know, probably for someone like Newcastle and Norwich, it probably suits them quite well. A draw, 0-0 draw.
I think Everton could get dragged into it, depending on how well Frank does.
Yeah, I know you're going about Everton, but they've just had Dele Alli and Van der Berg that's gone there. They've got the new manager bounced. Did they beat Brentford in the cup?
I think they did.
I think they did. just having a look.
But I think Burnley, that last 2 places are going to be between Norwich, Watford, and Newcastle, I think.
So who are you calling it then?
I'm going to say the bottom 3 as it is now.
You think Newcastle will go?
Newcastle and Watford to swap.
Interesting. It'd be crazy if Newcastle go with all the money they've spent, but it can happen. Just because they've spent a load of money doesn't necessarily guarantee, does it? So anyway, mate, let's go back to our game. I want to hear your performance rating and your pundit's man of the match.
I'm going to have to go for a 5 because there was just something missing today from everybody. There just didn't seem to be that fight.
5.
But the so 5 for the rating. The man of the match has got to be for Semedo. I think that work he does down that right hand side when he gets from the Neves out ball. I think the last few games and today again he's shown again that he's really stepped up this year.
Yeah, I thought Semedo. So we've got Totti Gomez, Max Kilman, and Semedo as the nominations. We've got Just Scott coming up, who's literally warming up with his wallpaper in the background in the green room at the moment, smiling away. And final thoughts, looking ahead to Tottenham and Arsenal coming up.
Tough run of games again now. I think Arsenal, we've got to go there and at least get a Spurs first, isn't it? No, is it Arsenal first?
It's Arsenal first on Thursday. Home game.
Thursday at home. We've got a good touchwood. We usually have a good record against them in the last few years. And
we've got them twice in the matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we can get something from Arsenal. Spurs, I think, may be a bit tricky. But yet again, they could be there for the taking, depending on which Spurs turn up.
And depending on which Wolves turn up as well. We do like a challenge. We do like rising our game. I'm hoping we're going to get 4 points out of these next 2 games. I think if we lose both, I think that's going to be a big blow. So we've got to bounce back. We've got to get on the front foot. We can't let Arsenal control the game or Tottenham. Win the Arsenal game, we can go to Tottenham and have a real pop. Yeah, because we can go above both of them from that, and then we got West Ham after that, or Leicester. So absolute key games coming up. If we can come to it, if we come through those and we're still in touching distance of a European spot, and win both games, and you have to realistically start thinking Wolves can make top 4. Yeah, I mean, what we could. Yeah, I know it's the hope that kills you because that's like Wolves, isn't it? You build the hope of the FA Cup, and then it comes along and bumps it. But I think Michael Lawrence has hit the nail on the head with 2 or 3 quality signings away from having a team to challenge top 6. I'd say top 4. Had a break, lost momentum, heads down, we go again to get match sharpness. I think we are 2 or 3 signings away from having a really, 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 really strong squad, saying that we keep the players that we've got at the moment. And I think that's we all know that, though, don't we?
I think an attacking centre midfield is an absolute necessity in the summer.
Well, absolutely. And there's going to be a lot of speculation in the summer about Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
And for me, he's someone that can't go for anything less than 60 million.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Me and my brother have been on about this. You look at,
It's
I mean,
like, you can't be
Declan
going
Rice has been quoted at 100 million today.
because he's British and English.
Yeah.
It's no Neves is, to me, is every bit as good.
Yeah.
But it's because he's Portuguese. But I mean, you've got to be looking at least 60 million.
North for 60.
Yeah, I hope he signs a new contract, but we'll see. But we need to get European football to, otherwise, I think he could be off.
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh, thank you. Please don't leave it so long before coming back on the show again.
Wow.
You know, you know, you've got a contract. You've got to do so many shows, and you'll have 100% increase on your wages. 100% increase on nothing's nothing in it.
Where do I sign?
Well, you know, just as long as you're not stolen off, you will get you. Hopefully, you can come on after the Monday night after the Tottenham game, because it'll be a late one getting back. So it'll definitely be on Monday night. Extra time will be for that.
Brilliant.
And we will be looking back at both the Arsenal and the Tottenham game for that one, because there's a short turnaround between Arsenal and, of course, Tottenham. So we very unlikely we'll do an extra time show. Because I've got to get the match vlog out, and then I've got to do the preview in between the two. So we'll be looking back at both those games. So it'd be good to get your feedback on that.
Yep, I'll be on.
Adrian Richards has said about Neves north of 80 million, and there's an argument for that as well. All right. Cheers, Josh.
Yeah, cheers, Dave. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cheers, man. Bye. That's Josh. Brilliant to hear his views. And our traditional bookend is back. He don't mind coming on last, Scott. He quite likes it, I think. The final word.
I don't mind it. I like listening to everybody else's opinions. So.
Yeah, you can sort of prepare what you're going to say, can't you? And everything. And how are you?
I was good until I watched that game.
Absolutely. Josh, great takes. He said, and F1 says, hi, Scott. Beam Scotty up. Adrian Richards says. I bet you've had that said a few times.
Yeah, loads of times. But I get it a lot worse if people knew my middle name.
What's your middle name?
That I'm not going to say on YouTube.
Mate, just between me and you.
Okay, once the camera stops rolling, yeah, sure, I'll tell you.
All right, that's fair enough. You heard it here first, but I'll have to not say. There you go.
If anybody could get it in the comments, it's actually a famous singer who's no longer with us. So
famous singer.
And that's all I'm giving.
Is that Elvis?
Oh God, no, ain't that extravaganza.
The producer guest for Elvis. So guys, we do need to be trying to guess Scott's middle name, and the first clue is a famous singer that is no longer with us.
And it's his full name as well, his first name and his surname.
Are you serious?
Because technically, I'm named after my granddad and my dad, but together they form this singer's name. So, yeah.
Oh, that's quite interesting. What's the big O's name? Roy Orbison. You're not Roy Orbison, are you?
No, my mum was a big fan of his, but no, I'm not named.
We've got Michael Jackson.
No.
John Lennon.
No.
Keep it coming, guys. So, Scott, where were you sitting today, or did you manage to go today?
I was going to go today, but the missus had to work, so I gave away my ticket and stayed at home. And literally found a link, which was the weirdest link in the world. No commentary.
Yeah.
All you could hear was like rustling. You couldn't even hear the sound of the pitch or anything, or the fans. Couldn't hear nothing. Was
it like a tumbleweed that was blowing around?
Well, the way we were playing as well, yeah, definitely. It wasn't the greatest game of football under Bruno. At the same time, especially when we was doing the transfer thing, and we were saying, like, you know, you said, how far do you reckon we'd go in the cup? I said we'd go all the way and win it. But the team that turned up today had no intention of winning anything.
Well, it was disappointing. Just before we get on to them, Merv Bennett's gone David Bowie.
Oh.
Sarah Winston's gone Keith Richards.
Oh.
Freddie Mercury from Chaotic.
No.
George Michael, Arsenal for life.
Yes.
George Michael, Arsenal. It's a bloody Arsenal fan, that's gone and won it as well. What does he win as a prize?
Round of applause. There you go.
Well done. A round of applause, Arsenal for life. I would have liked it to have been this one, Pat Benatar, but never mind. Fantastic. So, yeah, you got a weird stream. So what was your take on the match from not being in the stadium, watching a stream that's got tumbleweed music over the top?
I wouldn't have minded if we played well, but the first half especially was just dismal to watch. It was boring. Norwich looked like they were in a higher position in the league than we did, the way they were playing. It was just frustrating. I thought in the second half he'll do some changes, give them the kick up the rear that they need. And second half we did attack more, we did have more chances, but again it just felt like there was no way we were going to score at all. And to be honest, like I think somebody mentioned it in the comments, Saar brings so much to the team from an attacking sense, and I think we missed that today. That really did pull off some good saves.
He made a really good save in the second half at 1-0.
Yeah.
I thought when he saved that, I thought maybe that's the catalyst. We'll get the goal now.
Well, that was the thing. I thought maybe he'll turn in our favour with us getting more chances in the second half and him pulling off a save like that. I thought maybe, but just I don't know. Like
it's
for me at the minute,
kills you, Scott. It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like with Bruno and with the way he plays and the fact that he's come out and said that he really does want to take the cup and go for it. I don't know. I just like you said. Like I think some of them were still on the beach. Do you know what I mean?
It was so disappointing that first half. I was like, I don't know. Manny said what's happened to the Molineux crowd, but I thought for the first 5 minutes, I thought we were, the pre-match it was quite. But then when it's so flat from the players, and it's cold and windy and wet. As soon as we started creating something in the second half, the crowd were right there, and the crowd did try to get, but it just was a flat all over. And that goal right at the end of the first half was a real sucker punch when it happened. And I think had we got in a 0-0, we would have probably have gone on to win the game. But when they were 1-0, and then that chance from Daniel Pedent when he hits the side of the post and comes back to the keeper, either side of the keeper is a Wolves player running in to tap for a tap in. But I just felt that we weren't going to score. I just felt it, and it was the case.
It's one of them when you see chances like the Podence one, where on another day it might have bounced off the back of the keeper and gone in. It just weren't our day. Like there was a good ball. I can't remember who put it in now, and Silva met it with his head, and he went flying over the crossbar. And if it was a bit lower, I don't think the keeper would have got to it.
No.
And he just summed it up. That was the way it was. And then there was one instance near the end where Jimenez got the ball and he hit it, and he was nowhere near the goal. And I'm thinking, well, if Jimenez can't even get it on target, we've got no chance of scoring.
Yeah, that was when he literally pulled it, didn't he?
The one thing while I've been watching the show as well, like when you've asked people for their man of the match, like I honestly been thinking, who would I give it to? Like
well, you are a pundit, so you are going to have to come up with one.
The only one that stood out for me was Semedo. He literally was the only one. Like he fought for every ball. He was trying to create stuff. Like that tackle that he made when their player was 1-on-1 with Ruddy was just brilliant. Like it was a great tackle because otherwise that player had all the time in the world.
He gets that wrong. It gets it wrong. It's a penalty, isn't it?
Exactly,
so, guys, we do need to be voting. We've got Totti Gomez 2 votes. We've got Max Kilman 1 vote. We've got Nelson Semedo 2 votes. I went with Ait-Nouri because I thought he had a good game as well. So if you can start putting the votes down who you're voting for as the people's man of the match, you may struggle. And then the producer it might be close today. So the producer will tot it up and we'll do a total.
It's always harder to pick one when you've got a game go the way that one did, because literally nobody was at the races today. There were spells from certain individuals, like Neves spreading the ball, glimpses from Silver even. But it just wasn't great to watch. The first half killed me off, especially when they scored. When they scored, it was like you're deflating already because the performance. But when they score, you're like, oh no. That's why you're hoping for a better second half. And as much as we did attack more and probably had more of the possession than they did, it's still just with shots like the Podence one, you just know it ain't going your way that day. And when he said 4 minutes injury time, I'm begging for something to happen. Like when Ruddy went up, I thought maybe. And then Jimenez hits it and it's nowhere near the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was front. I mean, did you have a surprise that you saw Dendoncker playing in the front three?
Yeah, that did puzzle me. I thought maybe it's, I don't know, something they've tried in training. But I don't know. Like Dendoncker gets a lot of stick.
He does get a lot of stick, which is a bit unfair sometimes. It's got a bit of a languid style.
You can't really.
You
can't really give him stick for today if he's been played in a position where we've never seen him play before. Like, I just don't get the logic why he was there. Like, it surprised me that Jimenez was on the bench to begin with, because I thought if you're going to really,
that Jimenez was on the bench, I thought he would be, but I didn't think he'd start. And when he came on, he did put himself about.
But again, it comes back to that thing where, when he comes on, you're thinking he'll do something here. And again, it just weren't going our way. The rubber the green just weren't going our way. Norwich, I got to give credit. Norwich defended really well that second half.
They did.
Really
Don't forget to get everyone to get your votes in. It's Totti Gomez, Semedo. We do have Jack coming. You're not going to be the bookend. Jack's back in a minute, so we're going to have another one. We've got Jack just coming in and things, so we might have another nomination, but the producer's going to be touting up all the votes, because we've got Totti Gomez, Kilman, and Aitnori, and of course Semedo as well. I thought, yes, mate, it was really, really frustrating. I mean, I was surprised Totti Gomez came off. But we have to do. Connor Cody's 300th game now. That's something to say to be positive about.
He's come a long way, Cody has. A long way. Especially when he first joined, he wasn't even a defender; he was a midfielder, and then he's gone from being a midfielder to being like the heart of the defense, the captain of the club, and a great role model for anybody out there. And he's gone on to perform for England as well. The guy's just getting better as he goes on. And he's Wolves through and through. Like Ruben Neves for me is Wolves through and through.
Well, Neves' 200th game is going to be coming up soon. I think he's done about 198 games now for Wolves. Jack will probably know.
I honestly don't see Neves and Cody going anywhere. Like, even if we don't get European football, I don't think they'll go anywhere. I think they'll stick with Wolves.
I don't think Cody will, but I think there's going to be a lot of clubs that have got money this summer that are going to be really putting the pressure on Wolves to sell Ruben Neves.
I think what'll help us and ease some of the pressure on some of the players that we've got going is getting European football. And I'm hoping that this losing this cup game is a blessing in disguise, so we can focus on
the only way I'm going to forgive them for losing this cup game is if we get top 4. Then it's all forgiven. I want Champions League now. I'm not being serious. It's like my dad was upset. He's 85. We're knocked out. We should have got through. So if we're going to live, we've got to get Champions League football. Am I asking too much? I mean, come on.
You would have betted on us getting through as well, especially with Norwich at home was a good draw for us, a really good draw, especially with Norwich struggling the way they are in the league. So you would think we'd really be up for this, we'd really go for this, but it just didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I mean, I know I'm probably being deluded, but I think it would be nice. I mean, I think I definitely want to get top 6. I know the supercomputer says we're going to be 8th.
See, I still think we'll get 7th again. I reckon we'll get 7th again. and I reckon we'll go into the Europa League.
Do we get to the Europa League for coming 7th, or do we get into the Coco, the Clown League?
I think it's through the Conference League,
Yeah,
but again, I'm still confident we'll get through that.
Okay,
But again,
well,
it all comes down to the summer. We need to invest in some good signings.
we do. I know I've got a feeling we'll go big in the summer, but we'll see. Scott, final thoughts looking ahead to Tottenham and Arsenal. What are you thinking ahead?
Again, like I've said in previous videos, I'm more confident that they won't score past us than I am us scoring past them. However, it's Arsenal. I fancy us against Arsenal any day of the week. And with Tottenham, that's probably the one I'm more thinking that we'll probably get a draw out of, because Tottenham under Conte, and Conte is an amazing manager. Anything can happen, but Arsenal, I'll take 3 points from Arsenal any day.
Yeah, well, let's hope we can take 3 points off Tottenham as well, because that would be nice, super nice. Right, Scott, we're going to move on to Jack. Thank you for not being the bookend today. Jack's nominated himself as the bookend to come on last today. He's been drowning his sorrows in the pub. I reckon this is going to be really, really interesting to see what Jack's got to say. Cheers, mate.
No worries. All the best, guys. Always
Wolves, mate. So that is Scott, fresh from the pub, I'm sure. Is Jack. Jack messaged me. He says, I'm drowning my sorrows. I might get on last. Mate, you were like 5 minutes from missing the cut, and then you pop up. You're like a late save, a late goal. We could have done with one of them today.
Absolutely, yeah. Super sub right at the end there to nick it, but wasn't to be, was it?
Which pub have you been drowning your sorrows in?
The Royal George in Willenhall. Fantastic place. If anyone ever wants to go there, fantastic. I thoroughly recommend it.
Well, Josh Woodbury said if the top 5 win both cups, I think he means 6. FA Cup gets Europa League 7th. League Cup gets Europa Conference. 7th gets Europa Conference. Do you want Europa Conference or Europa League?
Either. Let's be honest. We ain't in any position to be fussy, are we? I think from where we've come from.
I don't want either of them. I want Champions League.
Europa. You look at the teams in the Europa Conference, right? If we were in there, we'd be one of the strongest teams there. So,
to be honest, I just want us to win something, mate.
Yeah. That's the point, isn't it? You know, people are getting a little bit giddy, aren't they? Talking about Champions League and this, that,
and that. Me getting a bit giddy. Woohoo! I probably am. I'm not being giddy. I'm just joking. I don't think realistically that ain't going to happen. But you know, win against Arsenal and Tottenham, and they're going to start talking about us. But
listen, you've got a dream, haven't you? That's the point. You've got to. That's what football's all about.
I was dreaming about an FA Cup.
I mean, I was watching Kidderminster v West Ham before the game. And with a minute and a half to go, Kidderminster are about to knock West Ham out the Premier League. Now, if you'd have asked any Kidderminster fan before the game, they wouldn't have given themselves even a prayer of a chance, and they came really close. And that's what football is. It's dreaming, isn't it? So, absolutely, we've got to dream about finishing the top 4. But, you know, we can't turn our nose up at any kind of European competition, given that we were, you know, bottom half of the Championship 5 years ago.
So, no, well, to be honest, like you say, if we do get into the Europa Conference League, we potentially would be one of the. I mean, I really do want us to win something. It's like, I'll take the League Cup next year. I'll take the Europa Conference League. I really do want the FA Cup. I wouldn't mind winning all 3, to be honest. But I mean, I'll take one. It'd be nice to win something. I think that's why I'm so disappointed today, because, I mean, I think you feel the same. How flat were you at the end?
It's unbelievable. In fact, we were in the pub, obviously, as you know, and the Brighton Tottenham game came on, and I said, I don't care about this one. I don't care about the draw tomorrow. I don't care about that. Done for me. The FA Cup's finished this year now. I'm not interested. I'll watch the final and whatever as a neutral, but I'm not invested in it anymore. As soon as we go out of the competition, that's it, done really. And today was a golden opportunity. If you could have handpicked a team for us to play today, it would have been Norwich at home, wouldn't it? You know, they're struggling in the league. They were going to rest players, and they did. You know, and the crowd turned up today, didn't we? 30,700 of us there, and the performance was so poor.
What do you put it down to, though, Jack? Why was it why did we play so blooming poorly, so passively? Because we were passive, and Norwich weren't any better in the first half. And the
No.
goal was just basically a balmy, stupid goal, flicked in, headed, looped over into the keeper. End of the game, end of the first half. It was like, oh, it's like, why?
I think
Why
even
did
they
we
were
score
surprised
like
that it went in, weren't they? The way they celebrated. I think he tried to flick it on, didn't he, and got a bit too much on it, and it ended up in the bottom corner. But do you know? I think tactically we were poor today, and I've been singing Bruno's praises all season for his tactical knowledge and his in-game management. But today he got it wrong. If you look at the Norwich back four, particularly the back two, Hanley and Gibson, they're not quick. Don't read the game very well. They're not comfortable on the ball, but they are big and strong. And to play long balls all first half into Podence and Dendoncker and Fabio was absolute nonsense. I'm not having that at all. That was a complete waste of time because we weren't going to win anything. And the one time that Dendoncker did win a flick on, there was no one within 10 yards of him to pick up the second ball.
No.
The tactics were so poor today. Second half, we were better. We got a little bit more control. We kind of pushed a bit further up the pitch. We got into the game a little bit more, but still wasn't quite good enough. We hit the post second half, didn't we, Podence, and there was a couple of other half chances. But if you look at that game as a whole, we didn't do enough to win the game. And that's the real disappointing thing. If we'd have absolutely battered them and their keeper had a worldie and we'd have hit the post and the bar and
then
cleared
you
off the
could have
line.
said, yeah,
you
you
accept
don't want
that.
to go out as a whimper, do you?
No, which is exactly what we did. You know, and it's so frustrating and disappointing. And I don't know, I haven't seen your show, obviously, but I'd imagine a lot of people are feeling the same. We've just blown an opportunity, an absolute golden opportunity to go and really have a go at the cup, because where we are in the league, we're kind of comfortably where we are, aren't we? You know, we might push up one or two places if we can put a run together, but we're not going to shoot up the league and we're not going to tumble down either. We're really well placed, aren't we? We could really have had a go at the cup this year. And we've, to be fair, apart from the goalkeeper, which we'll probably come on to in a minute, that was as strong as team as we could have played today. And they just haven't performed, haven't turned up. And
what did you think of the starting lineup, though, Jack? What did you make of the starting line when you saw the team sheet and then when you saw them playing? What did you make of it?
I think the 3-5-2 works for us when we're playing at a Man City, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, those kind of teams. And
was it a 3-5-2 though? Because it looked like a 3-4-3 to me. Because
it's a waste of time playing Dendoncker in the front three because you can't play there. And I think Bruno even said that in his interview after the game.
It looked as if we were playing 3-4-3.
But it's 3-5-2, isn't it? Because Dendoncker's a central midfielder. He's not a forward player.
But he was always in the front on the right-hand side of the three, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he barely touched the ball, did he?
Exactly. So I didn't get it. I was like,
why? No, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why we play. If we were playing away at the Etihad or Anfield or something, I get why Dendoncker plays there because he can drop in and help the midfield, and he can also support the strikers when we're on the attack. But against Norwich, where you want to dominate the ball and you want to create lots and lots of chances, he's not the man for me. It doesn't contribute enough. He's not quick enough or strong enough on the ball to kind of carry it with any purpose or any sort of threat. And his aerial ability is okay, but the couple of times where he did win headers, he didn't really manage to direct it to anyone or get enough on it or sort of cushion it, if you like, for Fabio or for Podence. I like I say, I just don't understand the tactics to that. And I'm a big fan of Bruno, and I think he's got a lot of things right this season in terms of the way he set up games and the way we've managed games. But today he got it so badly wrong.
Absolutely. And what did you make of the substitutions?
Again, there's not a lot we could have done, is there? I mean, you know, I saw Campbell getting ready to come on towards the end and he didn't come on, did he? You know, Kundal's on the bench who could maybe come on and do something. I liked Chiquinho. I liked his little cameo. I thought there was a couple of really nice moments. There's a really good cross he played towards the end and just no one gambled, which must be so frustrating as a winger when you sort of beat your man and put one across and no one bothers to sort of stretch for it or dive for it and try and get on the end of it. I'd have personally had to put Raul on at half time because I think we were crying out just to, particularly at 1-0 down, just to really sort of push on and try and force them back and try and get back in the game. And we sort of took nearly an hour, didn't it, really, before you started to think, you know, we're coming into this now and you can't give yourself half an hour out of 90 minutes to play well and kind of expect to go through. It's just not going to happen.
Paul made a thing earlier on saying he's seen a bit of a trend of Wolves since the Man United game. We started slow every game.
Yeah, and we had that problem under Nuno as well, didn't we? Where we would famously be sort of 0-0 half time, a lot of games, and then sort of kick on second half. It works when you win, it works, and you think it's genius. But when it doesn't work, you obviously start to question it. So I think sometimes it's coloured a little bit by the result. I mean, it was a non-event the first half, really. I mean, Norwich weren't fantastic either, were they? In the first half,
it was
you know,
pure,
we were
pure,
so
pure,
flat,
pure.
and they were just as flat, really, weren't they? They obviously got the goal from the set piece, which I'd like to see. I don't think it was a free kick even. It's on the left hand side. I'm not sure it was a free kick. The referee was really poor today, wasn't he? So, you know, but it was just frustrating. And like you say, the slow start is going to cost us, because you think about the Brentford game, until the injury with the clash of heads, we were second best. Southampton had a really good 15-20 minute period, didn't they, against us at Molineux, until we sort of stepped up, and then I think we got the penalty, didn't we, about that time, and went 1-0 up and sort of controlled it from there. Sheffield United could have been a couple of goals up in the last round, couldn't they, early on against us, and then we got the goal to go 1-0 up and then kicked on from there. If you play like that against Arsenal, Tottenham, you know, West Ham, Leicester, those games we've got coming up, they'll be 2 or 3-0 up potentially before we've even got going, and you give yourself a mountain to climb. And that's the danger, isn't it? If you start slowly against those teams with those quality players, particularly in forward areas,
you're not wrong.
They'll punish you.
What did you make? I've brought this up a couple of times, but I'm interested to see your take on this. That when he took Totti Gomez off, I thought we were going to a back four, and then Dendoncker drops from the front three to the back three.
I didn't get that either. I think if you're going to take Totti off, you probably, you know, play the back four, don't you?
That's what I thought we were going to do.
Yeah, which we did 10 minutes later, didn't we? So we kind of just sort of pushed.
Yeah, and then he takes Dendoncker off 10 minutes later. So why did he just not? It was bizarre, some of the substitutions.
It reminded me a lot of when we played Brentford at home right at the start of the season. We had that sort of second half where they had a player sent off, and then Bruno just emptied the bench, didn't he? We were playing like 1-1-8 by the end, weren't we? Everyone was pushed up front. You had Cody sitting deep and then someone else, and then everyone else was just attacking their box. It was a little bit like we kind of lost structure a little bit in the second half. We were kind of like, we changed the formation to try and get back into the game, which I understand and I get, but you can't go too far away from what you're about, if that makes sense. You've got to, yes, you can change the formation and the personnel, but you've got to have that, still got to have that structure, and that way that you want to play has got to be there. Because if it's not there, then you're going to lose your shape, you're going to lose your cohesion, you're going to lose your rhythm. And we did struggle for rhythm, didn't we? Because whenever we sort of had an attack, there was a little bit took out the game, and we didn't really put them under any pressure. We had isolated opportunities and little bits here and there where we had a bit of pressure, but we didn't really sustain it for the second half, did we? And I think that the substitutions and the tactical shifts around kind of contributed to that in that way.
I think you're right. So what would you give it as a performance rating out of 10?
3.
Whoa!
It was awful. You can't dress it up. Listen, we'll come on here when we win and say how great we were and this, that, and the other. So when we're as bad as that, we've got to be honest, and we've got to say how poor we were. I thought we were really, really poor today.
What would you give if you're giving this a 3?
Yeah.
What are you giving the first half? Because you've got to be giving the second half at least a 5, I would have thought.
Yeah, so what we're saying, 1 or 2 out of 10.
Whoa!
Honestly, that first half
was. We've had a few 5s tonight, but a 3. I thought you might get 4, but a 3, that's a low mark.
Listen, I don't mind being the Craig Revel Award and knocking the scores down.
I'm loving it, mate. I'm loving it.
Honestly, it was dreadful. Dreadful.
3. So that's a 3. And use your man of the match nomination.
The standout for me was Semedo. I thought he had a really good game. In amongst all the underperformers and people not quite at it, I thought Semedo was pretty good today.
So there
defensively
you go, guys.
and going forward.
So you got your final chance to get your votes in, and then I'm going to get the. You got another 3 minutes, and I'm going to get the overall vote from the producers. Semedo, Totti Gomez, Kilman, or 8 Norrie. Now's your time to vote. If you haven't liked the video, do so now as well whilst you've got the opportunity. Jack, let's have a quick look ahead to Arsenal. I'm guessing you'll be there for that. Tottenham, you'll probably be there for that as well, won't you? What are your thoughts ahead of these 2 games coming up?
I think it's now pivotal, isn't it? This little run of fixtures we've got, because it'll tell us exactly where we are. You know, we've won a lot of games against teams below us this season, and we've lost quite a few against the teams above. Not always deserved, obviously, but we're now in a period where we're playing teams that we want to be finishing in and around. So we've got to really try and get points off these teams, haven't we? Particularly Arsenal, who I think we should be looking to try and finish above, aren't we? If we're being really honest, they're the kind of team we want to be trying to catch. So it's going to be an interesting, because we've got them twice in 2 weeks, haven't we? So it's almost like playing a two-legged
really
cup tie
quick.
almost, isn't it? It's kind of going to have that feel, isn't it? Where we'll kind of be going down there in a week or so after we've played them at
In 2
Molineux.
weeks, because we got them on Thursday, and then the 24th, which is a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Not an easy game to get to do for a lot of people. A midweek game Thursday in North London.
Yeah.
But those 2 games, win both, and we should hopefully finish above them. If you lose both, it gives them. So it's key for both teams, and of course, sandwiched in between all around them, we've got Tottenham, West Ham, and I think Leicester, isn't it?
Leicester as well, yeah. I mean, it's a really tricky run, isn't it? When you look at it on paper, it's going to test the squad. It's going to test Bruno as a tactician, it's going to test his bravery as a manager, because there'll be difficult points in all those games, I'd imagine, and there'll be opportunities for him to affect the game positively. Whether he can do that, whether he can change things from the bench. Obviously, his interview after the game, he was sort of saying he's only got one winger and things like that, and so he's obviously still not satisfied with the balance of the squad. So it's going to be a tricky period. I think we're going to have to, if we come out of it relatively unscathed, I think it sets us up quite nicely, because I think March and April in terms of the fixtures are quite favourable. So we've got to try and almost sort of power through February, haven't we? And
Neto, Wang, Johnny Otto, Bolly, Yerson, they will all be that. I mean, I think Neto's still about a month away.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries we've had this season have been poor, haven't they, in terms of key players in key positions. And it was a similar last year, wasn't it? We never really at any point had our strongest 11 on the pitch, did we? Because we lost Raul for the majority of last season. And then obviously Neto missed the end of last season. Johnny missed massive chunks of the season. Bolly was sort of in and out of the team. And again, this year, Raul's sort of been in and out, hasn't he? Not quite at his best. We've obviously lost Neto for the majority, in fact, all of it so far, sorry. Johnny the same. It must be difficult, because you'd imagine that Bruno will have an 11 in his head that he thinks is his strongest team. And he's probably not been able to play that at all this season because of injuries, COVID, this, that, and the other. So, like I say, once we get through February, if we run scathed and, we're not in damage limitation mode by any means, I think we can be positive and we can be brave and go and get results. But if we can get through February into March and April, when the spring comes in and all that kind of thing, and players come back and we can sort of really, because, going out of the cup is really disappointing, and I think everyone's really frustrated and disappointed. But the one thing it does is that from now, we've only got Premier League games. So we know exactly what we've got to do. And you can almost turn that into a positive, can't you? Because there will be teams that have cup games and get, fixture congestion and stuff. We shouldn't really have that too much, because obviously we've got the Arsenal game rescheduled now. There's only the Watford one to fit in. So, we have got, a relatively clear run, haven't we, from now till the end of May. So, that's something to be positive about in terms of, controlling our future. We have got kind of very much a clear path ahead.
Well, absolutely, mate. And I've well spoken as well. I'm so glad that you got on. We do have, the producer has sent me the results of the people's vote. And it says Semedo was winning, but Gomez has made a late comeback.
Okay.
And the people's vote has gone to Totti Gomez. So that's who it's gone with.
I thought he was good, to be fair. I mean, I don't disagree with that, actually. And I think, again, he's sort of come out of nowhere, hasn't he? He's 500,000 we paid for him 2 years ago, mate, 18 months ago. I think he's done really well. And again, I think he was unlucky to come off today, wasn't he? I don't think he was no worse than Cody or Kilman, was he? In terms of you were going to bring someone off. So
yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it was a bit strange. It was funny. I think, well, I've just got to get out our system. We've got a game again on Thursday night. If we turn up on Thursday night, we beat Arsenal and we play well, we'll all be feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'll just to say thank you to you two for getting on to finish us off. We've just gone past the hour and a half mark.
There we go.
Thanks to everyone that's been in the chat today, contributing, It's always a pleasure that you join us live to contribute. Thanks to all of the pundits that have come on again. And of course, if you're watching this back on catch up, please just smash a like on the video. If you're new on YouTube, please subscribe. But if you're listening back on the podcast as well, I hope you've enjoyed this one. We will be back again next weekend. It's probably unlikely that there'll be an extra time after Arsenal because we've got a quick game. It'll probably be looking back at both games on the Monday night after the Tottenham match to look back at these two fixtures. I'm sure, Jack, you'll be in on that one. We'll be talking about these two fixtures in one way or the other, and we'll either be like really positive, or Europe's looking unlikely, or it's still on. But we'll wait and see.
Also, quickly, next Saturday the under-18s are at home at Molineux against Tottenham in the Youth Cup. Be good to see some people getting there and supporting them.
Absolutely. And what is it? Is it like? Is that like a knockout or is it like a league?
Yeah, it's straight knockout. Yeah, they're doing really well. They're in. I think it's the 5th round. I think the next one's the quarterfinal as well. So they're pushing on towards the latter stages. So it'd be good for one Wolves team to have a decent cup run, wouldn't it? So
it'd
be good.
I think
for
Wolves
people
have
to
won
get and support them.
Wolves have won the FA Youth Cup in the past, haven't they?
1950s, something like that. It's a while ago. Yeah,
it's been a long time since we've had a big run in that. So
yeah,
maybe we can get behind the under-18s and they can win something for us. That'd be nice. So yeah, and that's next Saturday at Molineux.
Yeah,
fantastic. Right, cheers, Jack. Thanks to everyone who's contributed, and until the next one, from myself and everyone else, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.